The market of Virilia Prime was alive with the hum of traders, merchants, and travelers from across the spiral sectors. Neon signs flickered along the metal walkways, casting strange reflections on the bustling crowd below. Vendors shouted over the constant chatter, selling everything from crystalline fruits to nano-fabric garments. And among the mass of people, she moved almost unnoticed. Her name was Lyra Kale, a young woman of seemingly ordinary appearance, with brown hair tied in a loose braid and eyes that, at first glance, could be mistaken for any other visitor to the planet. She walked with quiet confidence, hands tucked in the pockets of a simple cloak, carefully navigating the market stalls. There was nothing extraordinary about her, or so everyone assumed. But Lyra carried a secret. A mark, faint but unmistakable, ran from the left shoulder down her arm, a tiger-shaped scar that pulsed faintly with a golden glow. To anyone untrained, it appeared as a random wound. To those who knew, it was a symbol of the tigress lineage, an ancient order of warriors whose origins predated the first colonies of the galaxy. The mark was not merely a scar, it was a legacy, a key to powers long forgotten, and a warning that she was being watched. Lyra didn't come to Virilia Prime for pleasure. She was here for information, intel about a rogue faction known as the Obsidian Choir, whose operatives had been stealing advanced biotech from across the sectors. For months, her network of contacts had been silent, but a single lead had emerged, pointing her to the shadowy corners of the Virilian market. She ducked into a narrow alley, where the neon glow dimmed and the air smelled of ozone and rust. Her heart beat faster as she scanned the shadows. A pair of eyes flickered from a doorway, human, or at least humanoid, and a figure stepped forward. He wore a long coat that brushed the ground and a mask covering half of his face. "You're late," the man said, his voice smooth but edged with steel. "And you brought the mark with you." Lyra stiffened. "I bring the mark with me wherever I go. That's the point." The man studied her for a moment, then nodded. "I am Jareth. I've been expecting you. Follow me." She hesitated, but then moved alongside him. The alley opened into a hidden courtyard, walls lined with holographic projections that shimmered like water. A small group of figures awaited them, cloaked and hooded, but one in particular drew her attention, a woman with silver hair and eyes like molten amber. Her gaze locked onto Lyra's tiger mark instantly. "You've awakened it," the silver-haired woman said, her voice resonating in a way that made Lyra's skin prickle. "The tiger mark. It's been centuries since one has appeared outside the ancestral line. You don't understand what you carry." "I understand enough to know it paints a target on my back," Lyra replied. "Now tell me why I'm here." The woman, Elora Thane, stepped forward, raising her hand. A holographic map flickered to life, showing clusters of dots scattered across the galaxy. "The Obsidian Choir is planning something catastrophic. They have acquired a fragment of an ancient device known as the Celestial Codex. With it, they can manipulate stellar energy, weaponize entire star systems. And only the Tiger Mark can unlock its countermeasure." Lyra's pulse quickened. The Tiger Mark had been dormant in her for most of her life. Her mother had warned her never to reveal it, to keep it hidden from the galaxy's predators. But now, its purpose was undeniable. "I'll do it," she said. Elora nodded approvingly. "You will not be alone. Jareth, you will accompany her. The rest of us will provide support from the home base. But the journey is hers." The departure. The following day, Lyra and Jareth boarded a stealth cruiser, the hull sleek and black, designed to slip past the most sophisticated sensors. The ship's engines hummed a low, persistent note as they lifted off, leaving Virilia Prime's neon-lit sprawl behind. Jareth broke the silence. "You know, Most who bear that mark either run from it or die trying to understand it. I'm not most, Lyra said. Her fingers brushed the scar on her arm. A warmth spread through her veins. The mark pulsed faintly, as if sensing the direction they were heading. They traveled through the Veil Nebula, a dense cluster of energy storms and cosmic debris. It was a treacherous route, chosen deliberately to evade pursuit. As the ship pierced the nebula's edge, the tiger mark glowed brighter, casting flickering stripes of gold across her skin. You feel that? Lyra asked. Jareth nodded. It's alive. It responds to danger, to purpose, to potential. Some say it is bonded to the first of your line, who drew strength from the stars themselves. Before Lyra could respond, alarms blared. The radar flashed red. We've been spotted, Jareth said. From the storm emerged a squadron of sleek, black ships, each bristling with weaponry. The Obsidian Choir had found them. Lyra felt a surge within her, a roar that echoed in her mind. The tiger mark pulsed violently and instinctively. She grabbed a console. Data flooded her vision. Trajectories, energy signatures, weapon weaknesses. It was as if the mark itself was guiding her, lending her knowledge she had never learned. With precise commands, she maneuvered the cruiser through the nebula, dodging blasts and weaving between energy tendrils. Jareth's hands were steady on the controls, but she realized she didn't need him. The mark had awakened a part of her she never knew existed. When they emerged on the far side of the nebula, the attackers were gone. You survived, Jareth said, awe in his voice. I think we just got started, Lyra replied, her gaze fixed on the next set of stars. The hidden planet. Weeks later, they arrived at Cythera, a remote, icy planet rumored to house a fragment of the Celestial Codex. The planet's surface was jagged and treacherous, with glaciers that shone like mirrors under the twin suns. Lyra disembarked with Jareth, their boots crunching against frost-covered rock. They entered a cavern hidden behind a waterfall, walls lined with alien runes. The tiger mark pulsed brighter than ever, illuminating paths invisible to the naked eye. As they descended, the air grew warmer, humming with energy that made Lyra's hair stand on end. At the cavern's center stood a pedestal, and on it, a crystal pulsing with energy, the Codex fragment. But guarding it was a creature unlike anything she had ever seen, a massive, biomechanical tiger, its eyes burning with sapphire fire and a body interlaced with circuits and plated armor. The tiger growled, but it didn't attack immediately. Its gaze fixed on Lyra. The realization hit her. This was no ordinary guardian. It recognized the mark. The tiger mark was not merely symbolic, it was a key. Lyra stepped forward cautiously. The mark on her arm flared, golden stripes swirling as if alive. The tiger lowered its head, emitting a low, harmonic purr that resonated in her chest. I think it wants me to take it, she whispered. Jareth raised an eyebrow. Be careful. It could be a trap. Ignoring him, Lyra extended her hand. The crystal pulsed in response, energy flowing through her fingertips. The tiger let out a roar, then nuzzled against her, a sound that was both mechanical and organic. The Codex fragment lifted into her hands, humming with power. The tiger mark burned brighter, and for the first time, Lyra felt the full weight of her heritage. She wasn't ordinary. She was a descendant of the Tigress lineage, a warrior meant to protect the galaxy from forces that sought chaos. The battle for the galaxy. No sooner had Lyra claimed the fragment than alarms echoed through the cavern. The Obsidian Choir had tracked them, and their forces descended upon Cythera in a storm of energy blasts and mechanized soldiers. Lyra felt a surge of energy from the tiger mark. She raised her hands, and golden stripes extended from her arms, forming shimmering energy claws. With a roar that echoed like a cosmic storm, she charged at the choir soldiers. Jareth fought beside her, wielding twin plasma rifles, but it was Lyra's mark that turned the tide. Energy arcs shot from her claws, disabling weapons and armor with precision. The biomechanical tiger leapt into the fray, moving as one with her instincts. Together, they were unstoppable. The leader of the choir, a tall figure clad in black exosuit armor, confronted them. "You're just a girl," he shouted. "This mark changes nothing." Lyra's eyes blazed. "You underestimate what you don't understand." The tiger mark flared, enveloping her in golden light. She moved with speed and strength beyond normal human limits, disarming and defeating the leader in a blur of motion. The remaining soldiers fled, unable to comprehend the power they faced. As silence returned to the cavern, Lyra lowered the codex fragment, breathing heavily. The tiger beside her nuzzled her shoulder once more, its sapphire eyes glowing softly. "You did it," Jareth said. "I didn't do it alone," Lyra replied, glancing at the mark. "The tiger, it's a part of me. And now we have a responsibility. The galaxy isn't safe yet, but for the first time, I feel like I'm ready." Days after returning to Virilia Prime, Lyra received a warning from Elora Thane. A new threat had emerged. The Obsidian Choir had not been defeated. They were regrouping under a new leader, one who had mastered the stolen codex fragments. This time, their plan was even more audacious: to destabilize an entire star system, causing a chain reaction that could wipe out multiple inhabited planets. Lyra knew what she had to do. She called Jareth and the biomechanical tiger, preparing for what could be the most dangerous mission of her life. They boarded the stealth cruiser once more, heading to the heart of the choir's new stronghold, a massive space station orbiting a dying star. The station was a fortress of black alloy and energy barriers, patrolled by automated drones and elite choir soldiers. As they approached, Lyra felt the tiger mark surge. It had been quiet these past weeks, but now it roared with purpose, guiding her toward the station's weak points. "This is it," she whispered. "No more running. No more hiding." The battle inside the station was brutal. Choir soldiers attacked in waves, but the tiger mark lent Lyra speed, strength, and precision beyond human limits. Golden energy arcs formed claws and shields, deflecting blasts and cutting through armored enemies. Jareth fought valiantly at her side, covering her as they advanced through the station's corridors. Finally, they reached the control core, where the new leader awaited. He was tall and imposing, draped in a black mantle that shimmered with stolen codex energy. His eyes glowed a deep violet, and when he spoke, his voice reverberated through the chamber like a shockwave. "You have the mark," he said, "but do you truly understand it? You wield only a fraction of its power." "I understand enough," Lyra replied, her golden claws igniting with energy. "It's not just power, it's responsibility. Something you'll never know." The two clashed. Energy collided with energy, sending shockwaves through the chamber. The codex fragments pulsed violently, responding to the tiger mark as if recognizing its rightful guardian. Lyra's movements became fluid, instinctive, guided by a force she had only begun to comprehend. The battle pushed her to her limits, yet every time the leader struck, the mark absorbed the energy, transforming it into strength. The biomechanical tiger leapt into the fray, striking with precision, disabling the leader's devices and giving Lyra the opening she needed. With a final roar, she unleashed a surge of golden energy, enveloping the leader completely. The stolen codex fragments dissolved into pure light, harmless now, and the energy stabilizers of the station shut down. The choir's stronghold was neutralized. Lyra collapsed to her knees, exhausted, but alive. The tiger mark pulsed once more, fading to a soft glow. Jareth knelt beside her. You did it. You saved more than one world this time. She smiled weakly. We did it. Together. The aftermath. The galaxy slowly returned to normal. News of the Obsidian Choir's collapse spread, though few knew the full truth of how a single young woman, seemingly ordinary, had turned the tide. The Codex fragments were secured in Elora Thane's vaults, protected by the Tigress lineage, and the Tiger Mark's legacy was no longer hidden. Lyra returned to her life in Virilia Prime, walking through the crowded markets that once seemed so ordinary. Yet now, every glance, every shimmer of neon, reminded her that she was part of something greater. People still overlooked her, unaware of the power she carried. And that was fine. Some things were not meant to be understood by everyone. She visited the cavern on Zithra one last time. The biomechanical tiger followed her, circling the pedestal where she had first claimed the Codex fragment. Its sapphire eyes met hers. You're ready, it seemed to say. Lyra reached out, placing a hand on its metallic head. The mark on her arm pulsed warmly, no longer a weapon, but a bond. I know, she whispered, and I'll be ready for whatever comes next. Above Virilia Prime, the stars burned brighter than ever, reflecting the promise of new adventures. Somewhere out there, remnants of the Obsidian Choir still lingered, but Lyra no longer feared them. The Tiger Mark had awakened her not just to power, but to purpose. She was no longer ordinary. She was a guardian of the galaxy. And for the first time in her life, she embraced it fully.